My word, there are some long words out there. In this video, I'm going to take you through some of the very longest of them. We'll start off with English, and then we'll look a little bit further afield in a discipline that I'm calling linguistics. So let's start with the longest word that anyone has ever bothered to coin. It's the chemical name for a protein found in the human body, and it has 189,819 letters. It's methinyl threonyl glutaminyl larginyl tyrosyl. Let's leave Rob to that, because the thing is with that word, it's kind of unsatisfying. It's basically made up of just a list of all of the chemicals that make up that protein. Technically, the length of a word like that is limitless. That just happens to be the longest one that we've ever bothered to put together, and you certainly won't find it in any dictionaries. So what's the longest word you will find in a dictionary? Well, it's this one. Pneumono-ultramicroscopic silico-volcanoconiosis. It's the technical term for a lung condition, which is sort of ironic, seeing as it kind of leaves you out of breath. That word is in the Oxford English Dictionary. The problem with it is it describes it as artificial, and it's distinctly technical, isn't it? So what's the longest non-technical word in the dictionary then? Well, it's schoolyard favourite floxynorsynihilipilification. It means to estimate as valueless, and the story goes that it was invented by the pupils at a prestigious English school in the 1700s by just piling together lots of Latin terms meaning worthless, zilch, nada, and coming up with this ridiculous word. Incidentally, it's the longest word ever to have been said in the British Parliament. It was said by the Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg, something of an 18th century throwback himself. He said it while engaging in his hobby of slagging off the European Union.
Let me indulge in the floxy-knocking-nihilipilification of judges of the European Union.
But because that word was also essentially made up just to be ridiculous, it's also rather unsatisfying. So the next in line is anti-disestablishmentarianism. Now that word originally meant being against the disestablishment of the Church of England, but it's since been used occasionally to refer to being against the disestablishment of other organisations. I suppose you could say there are multiple anti-disestablishmentarianisms. Hang on. But let's face it, that's probably another word that you've never actually used. So what's the longest English word that you might use tomorrow or even today? Hey, if you haven't understood the meanings of any of the words that I've already said to you, you could talk about their incomprehensibilities. And if you want the cute answer as to what's the longest word in the English language, well, let me give you smiles, because of the mile between the first and the last letter. Or skilometers for our European friends. Speaking of Europeans, while talking about long words, we should definitely mention the Germans. They're famous for their ability to string together nouns and adjectives to make massive Übernouns, which is not a technical term, it's a word I've just made up, but it sounds good, doesn't it? The longest German word anyone's ever bothered to try to put together is Donaudampfschifffahrtselektrizitäten Hauptbetriebswerkbau Unterbeamtengesellschaft. Sorry, I haven't learned it off by heart. But what it means is Association of Subordinate Officials of the Head Office Management of the Danube Steamboat Electrical Services. So there you go. But if you're looking for a German word that's ever actually been used, there's Rindfleischertiketierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. It refers to a German beef labelling law and was actually the German word of the year in 1999. But that law got repealed in 2013. However, the word still exists, even if the law doesn't, right? But another way to come up with a really long German word is to just name a number, because up to a certain point they're written as a single word. For example, 777,777 would be one word, and it would be 777,777. And you can squeeze out an extra 3 or 4 characters if you use the German equivalent of at the end of it, st or stun, depending on the case. So what about some other languages? Well, Swedish has this word. It's 94 letters, and it means the manager of the depot for the supply of uniforms to the personnel of the track cleaners union of the tramway company. Don't ask me how to say it. Meanwhile, Hungarian has this epic word, which means expertise examination of deputy manager of the process management department. Some really funky job titles, aren't there? Meanwhile, Polish also allows you to build ridiculously long numbers. For example, 999,999,999,999 years old sounds like this.
999 miliardów 999 milionów 999 999-letniego.
And finally, I just want to show you this. It's what you could say is the longest written Chinese word because it's the most complex written Chinese character. It's called biang, and it comes from the name of a type of noodles. It's sort of onomatopoeic for the sound made while either preparing them or eating them. Nobody seems to be sure. But it takes 57 strokes of the pen to write it. And those strokes have to be done in the right order and in the right direction. It's so complex that it's impossible to write through normal typing methods. Now let's check back in with ludicrously long word Rob.
Valley.
Still going. He's got about 3¼ hours left saying that word.
Prolymethanil.
Do you want to tell him, or shall I, that there's another word for that protein? Titin. 5 letters. And that's it. Now, I know some of the words I've chosen may be a little controversial. Do feel free to take the arguments to the comment section below. Also, if you've got any other long words that I've missed that you'd like to share with me in English or in any other language, please put those in the comment section as well. If you've enjoyed the video, hit subscribe if you don't mind, and hit like. Until next time, goodbye.
Tryptophylalanil, spartyl, prolyl, isoleucyl glutamil, leucyl, asparaginil, valyl.